Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivanadari. Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivanadari. Yasodanana Braja Janaranjana. Yasodanana Braja Janaranjana. Yamuna Tira Vanacharya. Yamuna Tira Vanacharya. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivanadari. Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivanadari. Yasodanana Braja Janaranjana. Yasodanana Braja Janaranjana. Yamuna Tira Vanacharya. Yamuna Tira Vanacharya. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jayam Vishnupad Brahmhangsa Rudakasharya Asadhara Sutushi Shiman His Divine Grace Sri Bhaktivedanta Swaraj Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai Gaur Premanande Slava Zarani Bhaktam Slava Shri Guru Shri Gaurangi Oma Gyanatamanandasya Gyananjana Salakaya Chakshuru Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Tadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Parakamalam Shri Gurum Vaishnavam Scha Shri Rupam Sagrijatam Sahagana Raghunatam Vidam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Sabadutam Prijana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Visakan Vidamscha Hey Krishna Karna Sindhu Dinabando Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namosute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Prishubhanu Sutta Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vanchakapatrubhyascha kripa sindhubhyevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Shri Krishna Chaitanya Pranitinanda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaur Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 7, Son of Drona Punish, text number 21, with no purport. So, thereupon a glaring light spread in all directions. It was so fierce that Arjuna thought his own life in danger, so he began to address Lord Shri Krishna. Arjuna Vacha. That's an easy one. Arjuna Vacha. Krishna Mahabaho. Bhaktanam Abhayankam Kara. Bhaktanam Abhayankara. Tvam Eko Dhyamana Mananam. Apavargosi Samstrite. Arjuna Vacha. Krishna Mahabaho. Bhaktanam Abhayankara. Tameko Dhyamana Mananam. Apavargosi Samstrite. Krishna Mahabaho. Bhaktanam Abhayankara. Arjuna Vacha. Krishna Mahabaho. Bhaktanam Arahankara. Tvameko Daimananam. Avagosi Samsrite. Arjuna Vacha. Krishna Mahabaho. Bhaktanam Abhayankara. Tvameko Dhyanamananam. Apavargosi Samsmrite. Arjuna Vacha. Arjuna said, Krishna, O Lord Krishna. Krishna, O Lord Krishna. Mahabaho, he who is almighty. Bhaktanam, of the devotees. Abhyankara, eradicating the fear of. Tvam, you. Eka, alone. Dhyamanam, those who are suffering from. Apavarga, the path of liberation. Asi, are. Samsmrite, in the midst of material miseries. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Arjuna said, "My dear Lord Sri Krishna, you are the Almighty Personality of Godhead. There is no limit to your different energies. Therefore, only you are competent to instill fearlessness in the hearts of your devotees. Everyone is in the flames of material miseries can find the path of liberation in you only." Please repeat. Arjuna said, "My dear Lord Sri Krishna, you are the Almighty Personality of Godhead. There is no limit to your different energies. Therefore, only you are competent to instill fearlessness in the hearts of your devotees. Everyone in the flames of material miseries can find the path of liberation in you only." Good example of someone in difficulty. What their realizations are. So, if we can be in the same difficulty as Arjuna and get the same realizations, we'd be doing quite well. Purport: Arjuna is aware of the transcendental qualities of Lord Sri Krishna, as he had already experienced them during the Kurukshetra war, in which both of them were present. Therefore, Arjuna's version of Lord Krishna is authoritative. Krishna is almighty and is especially the cause of fearlessness for the devotees. The devotee of the Lord is always fearless because of the protection given by the Lord. Material existence is something like a blazing fire in the forest, which can be extinguished by the mercy of Lord Sri Krishna. The spiritual master is the mercy representative of the Lord. Therefore, a person burning in the flames of material existence may receive the rains of mercy of the Lord through the transparent media of the self-realized spiritual master. Spiritual master, by his words, can penetrate into the hearts of the suffering person and inject transcendental knowledge, which alone can extinguish the fire of material existence. So the text again. Arjuna Vacha Krishna Krishna Mahabaho Bhaktanam Abhyayankara Tvam Eka Dhyamananam Apavargosi Samsmrite. Arjuna said, "O my Lord Sri Krishna, you are the Almighty Personality of Godhead. There is no limit to your different energies. Therefore, only you are competent to instill fearlessness in the hearts of your devotees. Everyone in the flames of material miseries can find the path of liberation in you only." Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutaya Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Namane Namaste Saraswatam Deve Gauravani Pacharane Nirvishesha Srinivadi Paskadyade Satarane. Arjuna is faced with quite a difficulty. It's not every day that someone throws an atomic weapon at you. Usually in our conception you throw it at a city, but if someone personally throws an atomic weapon at you, it may be a cause of concern. But Arjuna, he knows he's supposed to take shelter of Krishna, and he has faith, and by experience, not just blind faith, but by his personal experience, that Krishna has unlimited potencies. He can do anything. And he does anything necessary to protect his devotees. But the devotee has to show some willingness to be protected. If one doesn't have firm faith in Krishna, in the Krishna's final words, Sarva Dharma Prachaja Mam Ekam Sharanam Raja Ahang Tvang Sara Papebhyo Mokshisyami Masucha. Then one may not completely take shelter of Krishna, like Draupadi. And Draupadi was being disrobed by the Kauravas in the midst of the assembly, Asat Sabaya, the uncultured assembly. Then Draupadi at first tried to grab hold of her sari to protect herself. But since Dushasana was unlimitedly stronger than she was having quite a difficulty. Until she put up both her hands and then surrendered completely to Krishna. And then Krishna became her sari, unlimited amounts of cloth, so that although Dushasana kept on pulling on the cloth simply expanded, and Dushasana wound up with simply a huge pile of cloth as a result of his endeavor. So that means that Draupadi apparently didn't have full confidence in Krishna's protection. Therefore, with one hand she was holding her sari, and the other hand she was calling out to Krishna. So Krishna used this as an example of that Krishna will give his protection when we're fully asking for it, when we actually want it, when we actually expect it, when we actually have faith in it, then Krishna can reciprocate. Otherwise, compared to our little hand holding our sari and Krishna's unlimited power, it doesn't make any sense. What do we want? Do we want two hands on the sari or two hands up in the air? There's no sense. One hand on the sari with our very small little power, and at the same time ask for Krishna's unlimited power. Our little power will not really be very significant in the midst of Krishna's unlimited power. So Draupadi had the opportunity to display that dependency on Krishna, and that dependency on Krishna is part of the process of Sharanagati. When Krishna says, Sarva Dharma Prajaja, Mam Ekam Sharanam Vraja. Mam Ekam, he expects Ekam, one, solely depending on Krishna. But in the Bali concept of life, we have so many things that we find as our shelter. And therefore, when those shelters prove to be inadequate, then sometimes we may depend upon Krishna as the last resort. But still, we may still have other shelters that we may depend upon. And therefore the question is, if you're on a boat, or you're trying to get into a boat, you have one foot in the boat and one foot on the land, eventually you have to make the choice. Do you want to be on the boat, or do you want to be on the land? Or else you're going to you hope you have a good ability to do splits. But when the boat pulls out, that wouldn't work either. So we have to make that choice, and that choice comes by hearing, by understanding, and by experience, as Arjuna had experienced. So we have to put ourselves in a position by which we can depend upon Krishna, and that we do depend upon Krishna, and therefore by that experience our faith in Krishna will develop. Now it doesn't have to be so dramatic as here someone has to throw a Brahmastra weapon at us before we finally depend on Krishna. No, it could be during kirtan. If we just give up our anxiety, masuchaha, and dance happily and try to experience Krishna's presence in the holy name, then that's also giving up our dependence on whatever mental conceptions we have, gross or subtle, and surrendering to Krishna. That's the easiest process, without having to go through the difficulties of material existence. But most people have to go through the miseries of material existence, and at the same time have some benefit of knowledge about Krishna, so that one will depend upon Krishna and see how Krishna can work in order to protect his devotees. But above everything, Krishna wants to protect us from our ma-suchaha, from our anxieties, our misconceptions that we're part of the material world, and therefore the whole drama that's going on in our lives is actually my drama, is actually my pastime, rather than the pastime of the illusory energy of which I'm illusioned by. So when we realize that actually it's not my pastime, it's the pastime of Maya, and I'm simply illusioned by Maya, and therefore I think it's my pastime, then one becomes detached from such external activities. Of course, in order to do that, Krishna says we have to find out tad-buddhiyas. First of all, we have to use our intelligence to at least theoretically understand that, tad-buddhiyas, tad-atmanas, and then put our mind with our intelligence in the activity. Try to see things in relation to Krishna consciousness with our minds. Tadnishta, and then have faith. If we perform devotional service, then gradually these realizations will come, parayana, by taking shelter of Krishna fully. Gacchanyapana avritim jnana nirdutta kalmashaha. And then all these, our attachment to illusion will go away, and Krishna will be able to cleanse our heart of all our misconceptions, which bring about misgivings about what the material world is all about. We think that in modern society, any society, there's always the cowboys and the Indians. I don't know if here in Europe, they had American movies of the cowboys and the Indians. Did they have that here? And did you ever see a TV program about cowboys and Indians?
Maybe not now, but in the past.
In the past.
Movies.
Yeah, movies, yeah. And the cowboys were usually the good guys, right?
Yes.
But there are no good guys in the material world. Everyone is bad. As I said the other day, someone asked Prabhupada one time, do you know palmistry? Prabhupada said, yes, I know palmistry. So the man showed Prabhupada his hand. Prabhupada looked at it and said, all bad. It's all bad. He said, birth, death, old age, and disease, all bad. But if you clap your hands and chant Hare Krishna, then all the lines will go away. They'll be good. So we're thinking our illusion is something special. I have a good illusion, as opposed to other people having a bad illusion. But the only thing that's positive to get out of illusion now, for us, we may imagine that we have something very important to do, except to get out of illusion. But the great kings will find the Pandavas will retire at the end of this canto. We'll find that devotees like Prithu Maharaj retired, that the father of Vena, what was the father of Vena's name? Anga. They were emperors of the world, and yet Prithu Maharaj retired. He was the emperor of the world. They retired in order to get out of illusion. That was more important than hanging on to the last moment in their illusory conceptions of life. So the question is how much we're willing to get out of our illusion. That doesn't mean we stop everything and we go to the Ganges and sit down and hope someone will tell us about Krishna. It means while we're working in the material world and whatever we're doing, we should realize that I'm doing this to get out of illusion and help others get out of illusion. There's nothing other. The real gain is not to get more money, even to expand the number of devotees who are in the temple. Or the real gain for us is to get out of illusion, to chant Hare Krishna without anxiety, to become more fixed, steadily engaged in Krishna's service with more enthusiasm. That's our gain. And then Krishna sees if that's what we want, that's what he'll give us. If we want other things, he'll give us those things too. They may not be bad, but they're not they're not the ultimate objective. So Arjuna, he's in this position, praying to Krishna, that he's almighty. The question is, how much do we believe that Krishna is almighty? He has unlimited potencies. And if we do believe, what are we asking Krishna for? Because everyone is praying to Krishna. It's not that we are something exceptional and that we're praying to Krishna, or Arjuna is praying to Krishna. No, Krishna says, Narate kasyatid papam, not papam sukritim vibhu, agyane navritam gyana, tena muyati jantava. Nor does the Supreme Lord assume anyone's sinful or pious activities. Embodied beings, however, are bewildered by their ignorance, which covers their real knowledge. So Prabhupada writes in the purport that desire is a subtle form of conditioning for the living entity. So desires are being presented to us according to our ability to conceive of this world. And the question is, which desires we're going to accept. We're going to accept the desire to become conscious of Krishna and to spread it according to the instructions coming down in disciple succession, or we're going to accept the desires, the smaller desires of those who live in this temporary material world, who have influenced us since time immemorial and given us different paths to take for so-called material advancement. We're going to accept the desire to advance spiritually, or we're going to accept the desire to advance in some way materially. Advancing materially may mean going up or going down, depending upon our association. It's not always an upward path, as some people were quite surprised that in reincarnation you can actually go down and become an animal. They don't like to think like that. The New Age conception of transmigration is that you're always going up, everything is an experience, it's a learning process. Even you act like an animal, it's just so that you can get the experience of acting like an animal. They don't realize if you act like an animal, you'll be gifted with the animal species in the body of an animal in your next lifetime. Therefore, Arjuna is an experienced devotee and is a realized devotee. Therefore, he actually sincerely took shelter of Krishna under such difficult circumstances. Now, it's our advantage to hear that we're also in a difficult circumstance. Most of us thinking, it's all right. Today's Sunday, we might even get some pizza today, who knows? What is there to worry about? It's a good day. Why should I be so much concerned? Besides that, I'm going to live forever. Maybe not in this body, but certainly I'm going to the heavenly planets my next lifetime. I get the constellation prize. Even if I don't make the spiritual world, at least I'll be there with the Apsaras and the Nandakanda in the forest for a while. So it's all right. So our conceptions of time, our conceptions of who we are, actually, our conceptions of our circumstances, they have to be refined a little bit so that we can actually take what we're doing more seriously in terms of trying to take shelter of Krishna, try to do things for Krishna, try to put our consciousness, our conceptions in Krishna consciousness, try to put our minds in Krishna consciousness, try to rely on those conceptions so that we give up voluntarily our anxiety that we're holding on to and chant Hare Krishna happily, without becoming distracted by the illusory allurements of what our mind is going to distract us with. Maya will always tell us, you're a great personality, you don't have to worry about Krishna anymore. Or Maya will tell us that there's other things you can enjoy because you're so advanced. Maya will give us so many paths to forget about Krishna. Yoga is chalati manasa. That as soon as one tries to make advancement on the path of Krishna consciousness, the Maya will try to allure one away from Krishna consciousness by so many different attractions, of which women and wealth are usually the main ones, but there can be even minor ones. Obviously, Bharat Maharaj wasn't attracted by any woman in the forest. He fell in love with a deer calf. So, Maya, it's quite tricky. Now we may think that's not relevant to me, but devotees have fallen in love, devotees have gotten pets and fallen in love with them, thinking it's all right. They're better than Bharat Maharaj. Bharat Maharaj slipped, but Fido is so cute. How can I not love her? Ooh, Fido, you're so cute. Ooh. They don't realize they're risking their next lifetime. We have to be careful who we develop love for. We're not even supposed to develop material love for anyone. We're supposed to develop spiritual love. And how many people have gotten a dog to liberate them?